Wisconsin Eye's 2014 election coverage is brought to you by the Wisconsin Hospital Association. For over 90 years, a valued voice for Wisconsin hospitals, supporting high-quality, high-value care in communities like yours.
Wisconsin Eye is at the Hedberg Public Library in Janesville, interviewing candidates in the 2014 elections. We're interviewing Mr. Leon Hebert. He lives in Fort Atkinson. He's a Republican running in the 43rd Assembly District. Mr. Hebert, welcome to Wisconsin Eye.
Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
This programming note, Wisconsin Eye appreciates the support of the Wisconsin Hospital Association, which represents more than 139 hospitals and health systems, for making these candidate interviews possible. First-time candidate, Mr. Hebert?
Yes, it is.
Why did you decide to run for the state assembly, sir?
Well, I just figured that our state and the nation is a little off track, and I've got a few years' experience, and I think I can be helpful toward helping out 43rd District and Wisconsin.
Okay. Talk about your career experience. Do you hold any public office? Go ahead, sir. Give us your short version of the bio.
Yeah. Well, okay, I grew up in the shores of Lake Superior, way up north, really. We've lived in the Whitewater area for 43 years. I'm married. I have a wife of 51 years, 6 children, and 16 grandchildren. And I am concerned for the future for them, the grandchildren especially. And to go on my work experience, I started out upon graduation from high school. Worked as a lumberjack for a year, joined the United States Air Force, spent 4 years there, learned how to fly. I got out of the Air Force, and I got jobs flying smaller aircraft and kept moving on up. And finally, I spent 32 years with America's finest airline. And after
which one?
American.
American, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's okay. Then from there, at 60, that was mandatory to retire then, so I took up farming. I've been doing that for 15 years. And now I think maybe my services could be better used in the political sphere.
Okay. Well, when you say you're worried about the future and your grandkids,
yes.
Give us your biggest worry about them, sir, and their futures.
Well, my biggest concern with the grandchildren, I think it could be cured. Well, one of the big things is education system. Okay. I think that needs improvement.
Okay. Okay.
And I could add another one. Financially, too, the financial system, we're just way over borrowed, and I feel it's putting a burden on the grandchildren and my own children.
I understand.
Yeah.
Let's talk about public schools. An issue that's going to be loom pretty large in the next session is going to be the voucher and choice schools.
Yes.
Do you support those as options to the public schools, Mr. Hebert?
Well, see, I don't know all that much about it, but I do feel we need to do something different. So charter schools probably is a good thing. I would need to know more about it. But one thing that it gets back to an issue that is going to be important, I think, is Common Core. If these new offshoots, like charter schools, if they have to abide by Common Core standards, well, hey, why bother? Mm-hmm. Is what I would say. Stay with what we got.
Well, let's talk about Common Core. Now, I noticed there's 3 states that have withdrawn from Common Core.
Yes.
Are you that worried about Common Core that you think Wisconsin should consider withdrawing, sir?
Oh, yes. Put it down some Orwellian memory hole or something like that, because I've studied a little bit. And it sounds good to begin with, but even the math and English, well, the math especially, is ridiculous to me. And then if you go deeper, further, they have plans even to sexuality of kids and all that. It's just way out of bounds for me. It's got to be done away with.
If the state of Wisconsin withdraws from Common Core, who should write the next set of standards, sir?
Okay, I believe, I'm not sure. People educated.
Local educators?
Oh, especially. Well, I like local because you can fire them or get rid of them. But in legislators, it should be approved by the legislature. That's one reason I want to be in assembly, so I can speak out or approve to the small extent that I could. But I definitely feel that we have to. Oh, there are other states do the same thing they did, but just really a thing the Department of Education, as far as I'm concerned, over the years has caused more damage and cost a lot of money. I'm talking about the federal department.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I'm against Common Core thoroughly.
Okay. Let's talk about a health care issue. As you know, the federal government told all states, if you expand your health care to more of the poor, we'll pay the costs. Governor Walker and the leaders of the Senate and the Assembly said, thanks, federal government, but no thanks.
Oh, I appreciate Governor Walker. That's another good move. I mean, when he got rid of light rail, that was the first good one. And then when he sort of pushed off Obamacare, I call it Obamacare, that was another good one. And this Common Core, what we're talking about, say the last thing we're talking about now.
We're talking about health care. And whether,
health care.
Whether we should expand it to the, if the federal government pays for that expansion.
Well, okay, to begin with, the federal government has no money. All they would do is borrow it from the Chinese or create money and throw it in the pot. So we don't need federal help in this. This got to get back to the state, I believe. Okay.
Let's talk about highway funding. This area is pretty interested in expanding the interstate, you know, adding 2 lanes. But there's a projected $650 million deficit in the next Department of Transportation budget. Do you think we're going to have to delay projects like widening the interstate or raise taxes, or how would you fill that gap?
Well, certainly I wouldn't raise taxes.
I think you wouldn't raise the gas tax or what you and I pay for our license plates?
No, I would not raise the gas tax.
Okay.
And then I really think that I'm aware that the trust fund is going to be depleted by early 2015 in Wisconsin. I say we should find a way to prioritize the road building projects and live within the budget until something does have to be done. I recognize that, but we can't spend beyond our means right now.
Okay. Would you consider putting on hold widening the interstate from Madison to Illinois because we don't have the money, or is that widening too important to this region, sir?
Well, that I haven't studied that particular project, and I'm not aware of the need for it traffic-wise, so I would decline on commenting on that one.
Okay, I understand. I'm asking everybody about this because it's so timely. What was your reaction to Judge Crabb's ruling on same-sex marriage, sir?
It's awful.
Okay.
Yeah. I could say more, but that issue is so off the wall that I just hope somehow she's corrected on that.
Okay. 2 candidates for Attorney General say first offense drunken driving should be a crime. Do you think it should, Mr. Hebert?
I don't think so. I really don't.
Okay.
Give them one, you know.
Okay.
Because especially young, you know, anyway, give them, I don't think it's right for a criminal offense for the first one.
Okay. There are calls both in Washington and Madison to raise the minimum wage. Do you have a position on that issue? I
say leave it as it is, because it would just put a downturn in the businesses. Some business can't afford more than that. So I think they would go out of business, and long term it would hurt our state.
Okay. I've asked you about a few issues. Is there any other issue that you're campaigning on that I haven't asked about, sir, that you want to raise now?
No, there isn't. I think the main ones are covered.
Okay.
Yes,
And any differences between you and your primary opponent you want to highlight? Why are you more qualified than he?
Well, I met him. I like him. You know, and it's just that the only differences I can see, and we both recognize that he's kind of young.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've got more life experiences?
Oh, and experience does count, good and bad. You learn from bad. I've done my share of both.
I understand. Very good. Mr. Leon Hebert is a Republican candidate in the 43rd Assembly District. He's from Fort Atkinson. The primary is August 12th. Mr. Hebert, thanks for talking to Wisconsin Eye.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you, and for taking the effort to come here to do this. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Thanks.